to react to how Femi Otedola became filthy rich. So yeah, filthy rich. Get me? Because I found that he got a house in one of the richest um streets in London. You know what I mean? One of the richest streets in London. What you say then? Anyway, let's keep it moving. Let's go.
I took two things that I love, dancing and dogs, and I made them into a successful business. Hi, I'm Ronnie. I'm the owner of Ketatov, and I teach people all over the world how to...
Everybody knows him.
I probably had about 93% of the business on my fingertips. More or less, I had the monopoly of that business.
Both the young and the old. Even entertainers use his name to symbolize wealth and class. And every Nigerian hustler aspires to his greatness. What is so special about Otedola? And how did being the son of a Lagos state governor influence his journey? From contemplating suicide to becoming the second Nigerian to be on Forbes' list after Dangote. Stay with us as we explore the...
That's interesting. For mental health, I think people need to watch this. If you going through any like mental health situations or whatever, watch this. Hit the subscribe button, hit the notification. Let's go.
The most iconic story in the history of Nigerian billionaires and why the name Otedola has become a popular slogan in the country today. Born in November 1962 to the family of Mr. and Mrs. Otedola in Ibadan, the capital of Oyo State, Femi was the second son of 6 children. His early life began in Lagos, where he was raised and enrolled to one of the best schools in the state, thanks to the affluence of his father, Mr. Michael Otedola, who worked in a notable oil company during that period. At just the early age of 6, young Femi Otedola began displaying a strong entrepreneurship spirit by kicking off his first enterprise, a grooming business which he called Femco.
It's always dying off when they're of a certain age, which I find very intriguing. Let's go.
Young boys' patrons were his parents and family friends, whom he offered to groom their nails and get cash in return. Following the completion of his secondary education, Otedola was admitted into Obafemi Awolowo University in Ile-Ife, Nigeria. While attending the university, he ran his father's printing press business, an experience he credited for polishing his business acumen and instilling his drive for entrepreneurship. After the end of his bachelor's program, he became a full-blown marketing manager of his father's printing press, learning the secrets of business ownership from his father while also paving the way for his own emergence. But
that's smart. That's very smart. Because think about it. Because you often think, how did people become such a, like, you know, when someone's very wealthy, how did they get the knowledge to get to where they are? Like, what? This is good.
He soon discovered that there was more to his father than just business ownership when Mr. Michael Otedola emerged as the governor of Lagos State in 1992. This event was a turning point for the family, as it did not just increase their financial position but also their political power and influence. Just a year after the step down of his father in 1993, Femi Otedola broke out of the family business and established his first company named Center Fort. It was a financial institution that specialized in investment and trading with no specific details on its commodity. Although it's not publicly available what happened to the business, Femi Otedola made a comeback in 2003 when he secured the financial capital to set up an oil and gas enterprise. The decision to establish Zenon Petroleum and Gas Limited was coming after he identified an opportunity in the fuel retail market, which he was ready to double down on. In 2004, Femi Otedola invested an additional 15 billion naira into the business, which was used to purchase storage depots, 4 cargo ships, and 100 tanker trucks. This was a game changer for the oil distribution market in Nigeria. And in no time, Otedola was now a major diesel supplier to companies such as MTN, Coca-Cola, Dangote Group, and other major businesses in Nigeria.
And if you want to see my reaction video to Dangote's documentary, that's available to watch as well. So that's interesting. All right, I didn't know that.
Yeah. This extraordinary success in just 2 years took him to the spotlight, so that even the then president of Nigeria, Olusegun Obasanjo, had to appoint him as a non-executive director of the Transnational Corporation of Nigeria to get the country benefit from his business intelligence. With this new clout, Femi Otedola was able to easily secure a loan of $1.5 billion in 2007 to fund his vision of building the largest PMS storage facility in Africa. It took the collective efforts of 10 banks to raise this substantial loan, and the acquisition of such funding enabled Femi to acquire a 28.7% stake in African Petroleum, effectively making him the chairman of one of Nigeria's largest fuel marketers that same year. He later purchased an additional stake that took his holdings to 55.3%, stamping his full-blown privatization of the former state-owned company. However, the following years marked one of the darkest days of his life.
See, it's pausing just on time.
With
I'm
today's
like,
unpredictability,
yo,
the way your teams work
see,
needs to be able to adapt to
that's exactly what I'm
changes
saying,
and
bro.
to adapt.
Entering into 2008 as a high flyer in the Nigerian diesel supply market, Otedola's emergence into African Petroleum had skyrocketed its valuation from 36 billion to 217 billion naira in just 6 months. But what happened next came as a shocker to everyone. Following the eruption of the 2008 global financial crisis that shook markets worldwide, Nigeria was no exception. Oil prices crashed from $146 to $34, while over 1 million tons of diesel owned by Otedola's empire were still on the high seas.
The oil prices collapsed. Over 1 million tons of diesel on the ICs, and the price dropped from $146 to $34. That was one leg of it.
This caused nothing but severe losses to his trade, but that was only the beginning. With the devaluation of the Nigerian naira and the sudden increase of interest rates across the country, Otedola was on the verge of losing everything. He had lost an estimated $480 million during the collapse of oil prices, $160 million when company stocks crashed, an additional $258 million through the devaluation of the naira, and a further $320 million due to accruing interest on loans. According to his own words, the only option he saw for himself was committing suicide. But then he thought of his wife and kids, and the option became more difficult.
No, well,
Really?
I had 2 options. Either to commit suicide, because the richest man in Germany then did commit suicide.
Did you consider it yourself?
Well, no. I just knew it was a phase I had to go through.
Instead, the downtrodden billionaire sacked himself from his company and appointed the new CEO so that he could fully focus on putting his finances back on track. Under the leadership of the new CEO, Mr. Akinfemiwa, both Zenom and African Petroleum were steered back on track in their various capacities, giving Otedola one less thing to worry about. Just after the global crisis had struck, Nigeria established the Asset Management Corporation of Nigeria, AMCON, to buy up distressed loans, and Otedola was able to sell $400 million of his $1.2 billion loan, leaving him $800 million still in debt. Left with no other option, he gave up 144 apartment properties, his shares in the Nigerian banking sector, which was the largest, and his substantial shares at notable corporations such as Africa Finance Corporation, Transcorp Hilton, Mobile Oil, Chevron, Visafone, and several other companies to settle his creditors.
Just in the context of properties, in measured in flats, I think we had about 154 flats, which I gave up. I was the largest investor in Nigeria.
Do you know what? Yeah, I'm gonna say something real quick. Yeah, I think and this is I could be completely wrong. How can the global market crash affect everyone, every other country? I don't understand it, but I do. If you know who controls the World Banking Organization, and I'm talking about who actually controls like the central banking systems, then you will understand why it's like they manipulate the system to make sure that, oh, you think you're going to get ahead, but just as you get a little bit further, we're going to reel you back in. You know, like reel you back down, bro. Like you are not getting ahead of us. And this is the fault. I feel like as Africans in general, like, and Caribbeans as well, like we need our own real central banking system. A banking system. Anyway, I don't get too tough in it. I'm not going to talk tough in it. I've got an idea. You know what I mean? Let's put it this way. I've got an idea, and I may execute the idea. I'm not careful with what I'm saying. I may put the idea into fruition. I may not. You know what I mean? I may find a way for someone else to do it. There's some things I've got ideas on, but at the end of the day, I just feel like this. If we become too reliant on other sources, that's our reason why we're failing. As much as he's a billionaire, you know what I mean? Like, let's go.
The banking sector.
In 2009, the same year when disaster struck, Otedola made history as the second Nigerian to appear on the Forbes list of dollar-denominated billionaires after Dangote, where they valued him at one.
You see, this is what I don't like. You see, this is exactly what I was trying to say, because I was in Nigeria as a billionaire, but in American dollars, he wouldn't be, and some wouldn't be. Like, it just doesn't make sense to me. But anyway, it makes sense, but doesn't make sense.
$1.2 billion. But following the unfortunate incident, the oil mogul found his net worth reduced to just 2 properties, his office space and a 34% stake in African Petroleum. Determined to bounce back, Otedola began restructuring his business. He started by rebranding African Petroleum to Fort Oil and then overhauled the system of corporate governance in place while embracing the integration of technology into operations. According to him, he decided that he couldn't fail, and in as much as he had lost billions, it was his destiny to make more. And with the assistance of skilled executives such as CEO Akin, Fort Oil returned back to profits in 2012.
Let me guess. You're thinking about going to therapy. And as a therapist myself, of course I'm going to say that's a great idea. But first, let's talk about the things they don't tell you.
However, an accusation by a Nigerian lawmaker in charge of the National Committee for Subsidy accused Otedola of making profits illegally by exploiting the fuel subsidy program. This was part of a 6.8 billion corruption scandal that rocked the nation's oil sector and indicted top players. But Fort Oil and Zenom Oil quickly slipped out of these allegations, thanks to a smart play by Otedola, who made a record of the lawmaker asking and collecting bribes from him to take his companies out of the list. The release of the video evidence effectively got the culprits jailed, as Otedola narrowly escaped a legal hurdle that might have stalled his business for years. In order not to fall for the risk of putting his eggs in one basket, Fort Oil diversified to the power sector, where Otedola financed the purchase of 414 megawatt power plant at the cost of $132 million. This move alone and Fort's growing financial position skyrocketed company share price by 13 times, catapulting Otedola back to the Forbes list by 2014. The mega businessman also owned a shipping company known as Sea Force Shipping Company, where he came to be the largest ship owner in Nigeria at a point. He had built on it to serve his expanding oil supply empire, which he was now considering to withdraw from. He started by selling 17% of his equity at Fort Oil to some Swiss investors in 2015, and then later went ahead to sell the whole company in 2019. The whole deal was thought to have given Otedola an estimate of $500 million, which offered him the liquidity to invest in other areas. With such cash in his hand, he announced plans to change focus from oil to power with the rise of his relatively new company, Geregu Power PLC. The billionaire was a media sensation at this point, given his constant appearance in news headlines for various reasons. His company had even seized the power of the same media, using it to launch a campaign against Dangote, accusing him of being among the reasons for AP's company stock price crash in 2009, after he secretly manipulated them with the help of a broker.
Hey, what's going on? What's going on? Why on panels?
Constant appearance in news headlines for various reasons. His company had even seized the power of the same media, using it to launch a campaign against Dangote, accusing him of being among the reasons for AP's company stock price crash in 2009, after he secretly manipulated them with the help of a broker firm. Successfully, this triggered an investigation by the government into the case, just as Otedola wanted. But this wouldn't be the only time he would slam a fellow billionaire for playing with him. Otedola also accused close friend and confidant Tony Elumelu of playing him during his time of crisis and posing as another person to buy off his shares at Transcorp Hilton. This came at a time when Otedola was trying to make a comeback to Transcorp, now chaired by Elumelu, leading to a stock purchase war between the two. However, the two eventually settled their rift with the intervention of mutual friends led by Aliko Dangote. Away from his business, Femi has made...
Listen, the way they lined this up was cold. The way they lined that up was so cold. So you mean to say you accuse Dangote of manipulating, and then you accuse one of your other friends of manipulating, but then you had to come to an agreement because of Dangote's help. Hey, listen, you can't make it up. Do you know what I mean? You literally cannot make it up. But the reality is this: you can't even. If you're doing good business, if you've got good morals, you've got ethics, you ain't really got nothing. I guess you got nothing to worry about. But I'll just say this: at the end of the day, I do feel like there are some other power play at play, but it's not those within, it's those without. If that makes any sense, you know what I mean? The ones you are not really seeing.
Strides in his personal life too. He is a father to a female singer named Tolani, a product of his whirlwind romance with his college sweetheart, Olayinka Oduyoka, whom it is currently reported has no access to a daughter or baby daddy, thanks to the alleged interference of Lady Doja Otedola. Femi Otedola later married a Ghanaian, Nana Otedola, and had 3 more children: Florence, popularly known as DJ Cuppy, Temi, an actress and blogger, and Fewa, a son who is reportedly autistic and loves to keep things private. However, his marriage came under some challenges in 2016 with a female singer named Tolani, a product of his whirlwind
I'm gonna have to react to a song then.
Romance with his college sweetheart, Olayinka Oduyoka, whom it is currently reported has no access to a daughter or baby daddy, thanks to the alleged interference of Lady Doja Otedola. Femi Otedola later married a Ghanaian, Nana Otedola, and had 3 more children: Florence, popularly known as DJ Cuppy, Temi, an actress and blogger, and Fewa, a son who is reportedly autistic and loves to keep things private. However, his marriage came under some challenges in 2016 when 2 young Canadian sisters, according to reports, tried to blackmail him over video evidence of his alleged affair with them. This prompted Otedola to file a complaint that landed the young girls in court, where they offered a public apology and saved the billionaire's marriage. Both in his personal...
No, sorry, he needs more than a sorry, bro. He needs more than a sorry. Do you know what I mean? Like that could... Oh, anyway, there's certain things that need... If you accuse someone of something, there's certain things that need to... And you know that person's innocent, yet you know you're accusing them of something. They need jail, bro. They need jail for life. That may be extreme, but they need jail for life. I don't care what it is. Do you know what I mean? If you lie on someone, like, it's different if it's like, you know, you're in a situation and you can mistaken someone, like it's like mistaken identity. That can happen. Do you know what I mean? Depending on the settings or whatever the case may be. But other than that, but anyway, it is what it is. They moved on, so let's go.
Business, Femi Otedola continues to stand strong. In 2021, he became the largest shareholder of First Bank, boasting a 5% stake in the banking giant, and later increasing to 11.6%. by June 2024. As of early 2025, Forbes valuated his net worth to the tune of $1.6 billion. An extraordinary comeback from almost owing nothing many years ago. With enough money at his disposal, the billionaire does not shy away from rewarding himself. He reportedly owns a luxurious home in Ikoyi, Lagos, and in other rich men's spots such as Dubai and Monaco. His car purchases ring a bell and rang even more loudly when he purchased a Ferrari Portofino for each of his daughters in their preferred colors. Reviewed by popular musician and son-in-law, Mr. Easy, Femi Otedola does not own a private jet, which goes along with his recent criticism of the luxury vehicle as money gophers.
No, I never. But most of our senior man private jet they use. No, father-in-law.
No, my father-in-law self no get private jet.
I also like clear that one. Okay, so we won't move forward right now.
Rather, the billionaire has chosen to devote expendable income to charity, making several donations to scholarship schemes, the state government, and religious centers. His benevolence also extended to the national football team, which he rewarded $25,000 for their impressive performance at the 2019 African Cup of Nations. From his early ventures to his reinvention in power and finance, the legacy of Femi Otedola is not just a tale of wealth. It is a testimony of resilience, reinvention, and the unyielding human spirit. His story shows that success is not just linear. It's a roller coaster of wins and losses, moments of doubt and triumphs over adversity.
An entrepreneur knows what no one knows. That's the secret. An idea strikes you, which no one knows about. Only you know about that idea. That was what makes it successful.
When it comes to breaking barriers in business and making an impact in the society, his journey stands as a beacon of what can be achieved when ambition meets purpose.
Facts. Make sure you like, comment, share, subscribe. Yeah. Let's see the comments real quick. You see, this is gonna be. See, I'll do that before your famous Burna Boy one. I knew there had to be one. There had to be one. All right. So what people are saying real quick. I'll make this money real big. Femi Otedola is a strategic man. Even with his business downfall, Femi still bounced back stronger. Thank you for this video. All right, Femi Otedola is popular for a reason. What a story. All right, I'm gonna put truly inspirational because it makes sense to why he remains resilient. And the best thing about this documentary is you cannot help but feel inspired. So yeah, let me know what your thoughts are in the description. Let me know what your thoughts are in the comments below. But yeah, man, I guess that's it for me for now. Get me. I'll be streaming another time, but make sure you stay subscribed so you're notified of when I do go live. But yeah, man, like, listen, all I can say is I'm inspired by that. It's made me think. And it's making me think, Rob, man's got to make some power moves. Like, what am I doing? Like, it's making me feel like I'm, like, useless, bruv. When I'm reacting to Dan Gotte's documentary, I'm reacting to Femi Otedola's documentary, and I'm like, yo, I'm useless, bro. Like, well, I'm not useless, by the way. I'm just saying it makes me feel like I need to be doing more. Just then. Like, and I'm not gonna say anything else more than that. It just makes me feel that way, and then that's the motivation I'm getting. If you're getting motivated, hit that subscribe button, hit the like button, share. Yeah.